Politics as usual.
Yes, indeed. Today, in American politics, federal police have ascended on Portland.
Hey.
And Operation Legend is apparently gearing up to be implemented across the United States. What is really going on in America, folks? Is America as we know it disappearing before our eyes? Is the deployment of federal troops justified? Or are we seeing the American democracy turning into a totalitarian state? What do you think, gentlemen? Should we be worried about federal police ascending upon our American cities?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been hearing the same talk for years, like younger. We're going to send the military in. Anytime some national disaster happens or some freak shit happens, like I have yet to see them come in and take like active action. So I just believe it's just people
so
just
far
talking at
like they're
national.
just shutting down the protesters. Like that's what
I'm saying. Like
I know in Portland, or the first place where they employed them at. That's what they did. They came out for crowd control. So getting them all out of an area where they had the consecutive days of protesting, and next I think they said one of the next cities was Chicago. So you know what that's about. He threatened that before about sending the National Guard to Chicago for the gun violence and stuff like that. So
that's what I'm saying.
Listen, when it comes to the federal government, when it comes to the police, I always think black men should be worried, or black people in general, so I'm going to pass this to y'all.
Okay, so listen, this is what's interesting about this, right? So I hear both sides, right, because we're so polarized in the country, and so I wanted to bring this up because it's interesting. But what people are in an uproar about is the fact that these federal police these are not just like SWAT, like typical riot police, which the city deploys. These are federal representatives, agents for the federal government, and they're snatching up protesters in unmarked vehicles, y'all. They have no insignia on their uniforms. They out here in full military regalia with masks on, and they're putting people in white unmarked vans, snatching them up and zipping them off. So does that concern you?
Yes, hell yeah. Where are they zipping them to, first of all?
That's what people are saying, right?
What?
And the mayor of Portland says, we didn't ask y'all to come here. Now, yes, so Donald Trump has sent the federal police to Portland to protect, as he says, the buildings, right? Now, like you said, there's some legitimacy in that, right? Because first of all, I think there's some weird stuff going on, and I wanna say this thing too, but the fact that they're unmarked is weird to me. What's also weird to me is that what the black population of Portland is, gentlemen? Do you know? Just take a gander. And you can't cheat because I know you look at the document in front of you.
Low.
What do you think it is? I'm serious. What do you think it is, Clark?
In Portland, you said?
Yeah, in Portland. We know the national is like around 14%. So what do you think Portland is?
2%?
Okay, 5.8%. Oregon State is only 3%. Okay, so all of these things happen when George Floyd situation occurred. But to me, do you think that maybe white people are using this as an excuse to like go dumb, to go ham? Because why have they not chilled? Because they're at the federal building, bro. They're graffitiing up the federal courthouse. Listen, I'm okay with dissenting, but are we gonna take over? Are you gonna like put in a new government? Are you gonna put in new police? Or are you just effing stuff up just for the sake of it? You know what I'm saying? So that's what's weird to me, that there are really no black people out here. It's really like white people against white people.
Yeah.
So what's going on in this country?
Yeah, it's kind of showing I guess you can say that, like you said, there are allies, but then when you see the pointless things, like the one white lady who set the Wendy's on fire, or the white guy who started the damage to the AutoZone that started off all the other stuff that went on in Minnesota. It's kind of looking at it. It's tough to really even say that the protesting is really effective because of the interference of those individuals.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to tell what would be, what would happen if they weren't out affecting things the way that they were. Like, would these protests be peaceful the way that they start off? But it's like as soon as the lights go out.
Yeah.
And I don't know much about Antifa and the things that they've said about that, but I think that it's real, and we've seen it. We've seen videos of like white individuals organizing the violence and telling black people
Exactly.
to go, hey, y'all go down here, we're gonna go this way.
Yeah.
The alleged videos of them paying individuals to do certain
Yeah.
damage. So it's just
The undercover cops are like
right.
they said.
So it's
yeah.
like maybe what this is them kind of taking control of that. But who's to say, man? Like, who's to say? This is kind of tough.
So y'all ready to go deeper?
Go ahead.
I was waiting on it.
So check it out, right? So that's one aspect of it, okay? So there's some things, you know, I know that black folks going to be mad at us for saying that there's some strangeness going on with these protests, which there are. You have to just, if you're a logical person, you have to see it, okay? What's getting weirder is that just a couple days ago, have you guys heard of Operation Legend?
No.
Okay, so check this out. This is being deployed across the U.S., okay? And this was signed into effect by your boy Trumpito.
Trumpito.
Yes, Donnie Trumpito. I'm going to tell you what it is. Operation Legend is named after 4-year-old Legend Talifero, young little black kid who was shot and killed in his sleep early June 29th in Kansas City, Missouri, part of a 40% increase in homicides in KC. Y'all got to do better in KC, man. Y'all got to chill out. According to the Justice Department. Under Operation Legend, Attorney General William Barr promised to send more than 100 agents from the FBI, U.S. Marshals, DEA, and ATF to help state and local law enforcement beginning in Kansas City. Potential cities to come, people, Chicago, Philadelphia, Detroit, Albuquerque out of all places. I didn't know Albuquerque was popping like that.
Hey, man, Breaking Bad.
That's new to
I
me.
guess so. That's I
Breaking
guess,
Bad.
yeah. And Cleveland. So do you
Cleveland
guys kind of notice though a commonality between these
theme?
cities?
Yeah.
What is the consistent theme that you see?
The inner city, Chicago, Philadelphia, Detroit. Those three stand out. Cleveland especially. Certain parts of Ohio are pretty crazy. But those are predominantly large areas of, us.
They're
You know
they're
what I'm saying?
predominantly black, and they're
Yeah.
also all those cities are actually ran by Democrats. There's not a
That
single,
was it, yeah.
There's not a single Republican one there, and so
Right.
what's strange to me is that this operation involves federal troops. Now, it's not strange that federal troops and local law enforcement often work together on larger things, right?
Right.
You see the Fed
Yeah.
get involved with certain, crimes. But to have federal police deployed in a city is not something that is not a precedent that we've seen.
Never.
Okay, and what you're seeing now, even I saw today that the mayor of Philadelphia says that if Trump sends federal police, he is going to find ways to prosecute the federal police for anything that they do that's unlawful or outside of the letter of the law. So this is something is weird happening in this country between Republicans and Democrats, those on the liberal left and those on the far right, and which is the reason why I continue to say as we as black people have to be aware of what's going on. In Portland, it's not black people protesting. I see very, very few black people protesting about social justice and these kinds of things. We have pretty much, like we usually do, we get in an uproar, we calm it down. We are very forgiving as a people, and we just want to, like you said, Caution, I just want to live out here.
Right.
Right,
real
we
talk.
just trying to live our day-to-day and raise our families,
Be done with it.
and we're getting pulled in to things like Operation Legend, so now we got federal police potentially going into cities. So this could get weird, especially coming up with November, right? We have an election coming up. Okay, the country, to me, is descending further and further into chaos. And I don't even know what's going on anymore.
What the hell is going on?
Oh man.
I wish we had that Ronald Isley drop right then. What the hell is going on? That'd be perfect.
My gosh! But I know that this is kind of a, there's a lot of conspiracy theories about this on both sides, but I just want to kind of get y'all's thought about the federal police.
That's
and
wild.
Does this
Just
make you
hopping out of white vans and snatching people up, bro?
with no insignia? I mean, so think about this, right? So, look at Breonna Taylor, for example.
Right, yeah.
Okay, she's in her house chilling with her man. Her man has a license, to carry firearm.
Right.
All right. Plainclothes cops come in to the house, and I'm sure, even in Caution in LA, you've heard about these kind of stories where like cats coming up in unmarked cars. Now if what happens if I shoot you? You don't have any type of government insignia on you. So can I return fire? If you're trying to snatch me and we squab and I break your jaw or something of that nature.
And that's
Okay, now am I going to be prosecuted for fighting a federal agent, but I don't know who you are?
Exactly.
You could just be a militia member. Mm-hmm. You know, and so that to me is what's very interesting about this.
How am I supposed to know if you don't pull out no badge and then you run up on me and the first thing you hollering out, it ain't, I'm the police.
Yeah.
You just hollering out, trying to whip my ass, and then I hit you, and as soon as I hit you, now I'm in jail for breaking your jaw and attacking the police officer.
And they look like military.
Yeah.
You know, so you got military walking around the streets, and so now what's interesting is that Donald Trump and Barr are saying that, you know, they're going to do this Operation Legend to quell violence in a lot of these cities. So it's really not about, it has nothing to do with protests.
Yeah.
So it's almost kind of like they use this as a means, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because did they just create this in the last couple months? I mean, maybe they did. I mean, he kind of is like a off the cuff kind of a dude.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird timing to say, okay, here come the protests, and now we're going to send in federal police into Chicago, Philadelphia, Detroit, and Cleveland, okay, to quell inner city violence, and it's named Operation Legend around a 4-year-old little black kid.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, wait a minute here. Do you want to help black people in the inner city, or are you trying to do something else?
No, it's something else. I guarantee you.
It's always something
It's
else.
something else, especially with him. There's an ulterior motive there that we don't know much about, but he seems to be doing a lot of things now to keep his name in the conversation and saying different things to strike people a certain way. That seems to be his motto of doing things.
Yeah.
Like, so we will see, but this doesn't surprise me at all because he's been threatening it for the past couple years now.
Yeah, you know, and I think we just need to be aware. We need to talk about these things and not let them just kind of glow over, because things get buried in the narrative. You know, but to me it appears that America as we know it is crumbling before our very eyes. From the coast to the suburbs to rural America, the nation seems to be descending into chaos. Everyone is unhinged, emotionally out of control, and unable to cope with the most simple of daily issues. Are we witnessing the beginning of the end of the experiment called the United States? Or will there be redemption and a rebirth of a new America that finally exudes the principles of liberty and justice for all? It's evident that we are living in a defining moment in the history of this nation. How will the story end, and what part will you choose to play in its demise or its restoration? That's the question we each have to ask ourselves.
Very much so. Also, one of my favorite quotes is from a president. I won't say which one. You can do your own research. And I just had to find it because I heard it here recently. But it's that America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. And so that is a very true statement. That is actually what you see manifesting itself now. Just be careful of what you do. Be careful of why you're doing it. I know a lot of people that's still out protesting. Not as much as they were initially.
Yeah.
So just be mindful of these things. If you're not watching the news and haven't heard about these people that they have and that they're employing in these cities, please be careful out there, man, because I don't know who they're targeting. But we always seem to be the target. So just be careful with the way you move and, make sure that we're all out there looking out for each other, because that's the reason why we're out there anyway. So.